Welcome to the world of Norse mythology. Today we will explore a goddess of immense wisdom and power. Frigga. She is the mother of gods, wife of Odin, and the weaver of fate. Not only does she govern marriage and family in Asgard, but she also possesses the ability to foresee the future. This story will take us deep into Frigga's legend, revealing her status and role in mythology. Now, let's step into her story and enter the legendary world of this goddess. Frigga's origin is deeply rooted in mythology, but unlike other Norse deities, her early background and origin stories are less detailed. Her name may be connected to an ancient Indo-European root meaning, love or intimate relationship, reflecting her core role in mythology as the goddess of marriage and family. Frigga is often seen as part of the Aesir, Asgardian gods, but she also has ties to the Vanir gods. The Vanir were mainly associated with nature and fertility, while the Aesir were more concerned with war and power. This duality makes Frigga connected not only to family and marriage but also to fate and foresight. In Norse mythology, Frigga holds an exalted status. She is the queen of Asgard and Odin's wife. As the mother of gods, her influence is vast, symbolizing motherhood and the role of a wife. Her palace is called Fensalar, which translates to Hall of the Marsh, symbolizing tranquility and familial happiness. Her residence is regarded as a place of warmth, peace, and togetherness, perfectly fitting her role as the protector of family and marriage. Frigga is revered as the guardian of marriage and family. Whether in the human or divine realms, she represents stability and harmony within the home. She often helps those facing marital difficulties, and in Norse culture, people pray to her during wedding ceremonies or family gatherings for her blessing. Frigga also possesses the power of foresight, which is one of her most defining divine attributes. While she can see the end of all fates, she usually chooses to accept them in silence and does not share them with others. A prime example is that she foresaw her son Baldur's death but was unable to alter the tragic fate, reflecting her acceptance of destiny. Frigga has close ties to the Norns, the goddesses of fate who govern the past, present, and future. While not identical to the Norns, Frigga's ability to influence fate has made her a symbol of destiny, holding the threads of fate for both gods and humans. Her relationship with Odin is one of the most important marriages in Norse mythology. Although Odin is often involved with other goddesses due to his many romantic escapades, Frigga, as his wife, maintains a high standing among the gods. Their union is not just a symbol of marriage but also of the balance between wisdom and power. Odin frequently seeks wisdom through his adventures, while Frigga naturally masters the secrets of the world through her foresight. Their complementary abilities make them a balancing force in the divine realm. In Norse mythology, the most famous story about Frigga is the death of her son, Baldur, the god of light. Let me now tell you this tragic story. Soft sunlight shone over the vast land of Asgard. Frigga sat in her palace, Fensalar, gently weaving threads of fate with her hands. Her fingers trembled slightly with anxiety with every pass of the spindle. Her face was full of unease, and though her eyes were fixed on the loom, her mind wandered far away. Since her son Baldur, the embodiment of light and beauty, began having dreams foretelling his death, Frigga had been unable to find peace.
I can feel it. The dark forces are slowly closing in. My son, his radiance is about to be swallowed by this shadow. Fate, why are you so cruel? I foresaw its arrival, but I am powerless to stop it. As a mother, I cannot accept this.
Frigga thought to herself. Determined to do something, she resolved to protect Baldur. Despite destiny being set, she would fight for even the smallest hope. She decided to travel across the realms and seek protection. Frigga stood in a vast, desolate land, the wind whispering in her ears, as if speaking unknown prophecies. Riding her horse, she journeyed through all 9 realms, seeking promises from every creature and natural element. Standing beneath towering mountains that reached the clouds, Frigga firmly made her request to the earth. Frigga, her voice steady. Earth, I beg you, swear that you will not harm my son Balder. He is the embodiment of light, and I must protect him. I swear the earth's soil will never harm him. He will always be safe in my embrace. Earth, responding deeply and warmly. Frigga stood by the sea, where waves crashed against the rocks, and the salty sea breeze filled the sky. She extended her hand, as if making a pact with the vast ocean. Frigga, her voice floating like the wind. See, I ask you as well, do not let your waves harm my son. I swear the waves will part for him, and no waters shall touch him. See the waves responding, softly like a song. Frigga traveled far and wide, and all living things agreed to her request. However, she overlooked one insignificant thing, a small mistletoe plant hidden deep in the forest. She believed that such a delicate plant could not possibly pose a threat to her son. A few days later, in the grand square of Asgard, the gods gathered around Balder, playing. They threw weapons, stones, and even blades at him, but no matter how hard they tried, Balder remained unharmed. His face was adorned with a gentle smile, and his eyes shone with confidence and pride. Sunlight glistened off his golden hair as he stood at the center of the square, like a figure of pure light. The gods surrounded him, laughing and seemingly lost in this strange game. But far away, Loki did not laugh. Standing in the shadows, his eyes glinted with malice. His heart was full of jealousy and spite. He knew Frigga had not made the mistletoe swear an oath, and this was his chance to execute his plan. Frigga thinks she can escape fate. How foolish. She missed the smallest detail, and I shall use it to prove that fate cannot be defied. Loki thought to himself. Loki sneaked into the forest and found the mistletoe plant. Using his magic, he crafted a small arrow from it. His eyes sparkled with satisfaction as he completed the arrow and then brought it to Balder's blind brother, Hoder. Hoder, unable to see, could only hear the gods' laughter, and his heart was filled with regret for not being able to join in. Slowly, Loki approached him, smiling as he handed Hoder a bow and the arrow. Loki, smiling cunningly. Hoder, why don't you join the game? Your brother Balder is invincible. This arrow won't harm him. But I cannot see, how can I aim for him? Hoder, hesitantly. Don't worry, I'll guide you. It's just a game, he won't be hurt. Loki, speaking slyly. Hoder believed Loki and took the bow and arrow, following Loki's instructions to draw the bow and shoot. The arrow whistled through the air with a low hum. Made from mistletoe, the arrow flew straight toward Balder's chest. The gods' laughter ceased abruptly, and the air seemed to freeze. Balder's smile faded, and he collapsed slowly. Sunlight still glimmered on his golden hair, but his brilliance had dimmed. The gods stood in silence, stunned. They could not believe that the god they thought was invincible had fallen. The sky darkened, as if the earth and heavens were mourning him. Frigga felt a chill in her heart and knew something had happened to Balder. She rushed to the square and upon seeing Balder lying on the ground, tears welled up in her eyes. Kneeling beside her son, she gently caressed his cold cheek, murmuring to herself, "No, this can't be happening, my son. Why has my light been taken away? I did everything I could, I begged all of creation, yet I could not change it. Fate, why are you so cruel? Why did you show me this if I couldn't stop it? Balder, my son. You cannot leave me like this. You are the light of this world. You cannot be taken by fate. Realizing her grief could not change anything, she asked the gods if anyone would travel to the underworld to beg Hel, the goddess of death, to release Balder. Only Hermod and the goddess Freyja agreed to Frigga's plea to go together. Finally, Hel granted their request but imposed a condition. Balder would only be resurrected if all living creatures mourned his death. Hermod and Freyja set off on their journey, traveling through the 9 realms. Every creature wept for Balder, and all of creation grieved his passing. But when Hermod and Freyja reached the last place, they found Loki, disguised as a cold-hearted giant. Loki, coldly, Balder's death means nothing to me. I will not weep for him, you can go back. With those words, Loki shattered Frigga's final hope. Because of his refusal, Balder could not be resurrected and was doomed to remain in the underworld forever. Frigga stood on the vast edges of Asgard, gazing over the land. Her eyes were filled with pain and helplessness. As the weaver of fate, she had foreseen it all, yet she could not change it. She knew she had to accept what had happened. Fate had made its final judgment. Fate. Even with my foresight, I still cannot change you. You have taken my beloved son, but you cannot take my love for him. Though Balder's light is extinguished, it will continue to shine in my heart forever. Frigga whispered sadly. She lifted her head and gazed at the sky, tears glistening in her eyes, but her posture remained tall, strong, and composed. Despite the overwhelming sadness she felt, as the matriarch of Asgard, she knew her responsibilities. The gods still needed her guidance and protection. Though her love couldn't save Balder, her boundless motherly love would continue to illuminate the entire divine realm. The last rays of the setting sun cast their golden glow over every corner of Asgard, and the sky gradually began to be blanketed by the faint light of stars. Frigga stood alone atop her palace, looking down at the land she had safeguarded for countless centuries. Though her heart was filled with loss, her gaze remained one of resilience and wisdom. Fate can take away everything, but it cannot take away love. This love will transcend all boundaries, whether life or death, or the passage of time. Balder, though you no longer stand beside me, your light will never fade from my memory. Frigga whispered. Following Balder's death, the gods of Asgard gradually returned to their daily lives. Though they knew that the loss of Balder was irreversible, they continued on under Frigga's protection. Frigga's role extended beyond that of a mother. She was the guardian of the gods and the weaver of fate. She often looked up at the stars, with a sense of foreboding about the future. She knew that one day Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, would come, and the final judgment of fate would descend. But until that day, she would continue fulfilling her duties, with maternal warmth and strength, protecting her home. I have already foreseen the final outcome of fate. Ragnarok is inevitable, but until then, I will protect this land as a mother, with my love and wisdom. Fate may be merciless, but motherly love is eternal. As Frigga gazed into the distance, the stars of Norse mythology twinkled in the sky, and under the interplay of light and darkness, the weaving of fate continued. This story of Balder's death is filled with tragedy and the inescapability of fate. As a mother, Frigga did everything she could to protect her son, but in the end, she could not avoid the dictates of destiny. Her love and resilience were displayed not only through her grief but also in her acceptance of fate. Even after losing everything, she remained steadfast in her duties, embodying the deep power of motherly love and fate. Frigga's story reminds us that love is indestructible. Though fate may be harsh and life fleeting, the light of motherly love can surpass everything and shine forever. While Norse mythology details the fate of Odin and other major gods during Ragnarok, there is no clear record of Frigga's involvement in the event. The primary sources, such as the Edda, do not mention whether Frigga participated in Ragnarok, nor do they provide any specifics about her ultimate fate during the world's end. Since Frigga, unlike Odin or Thor, did not directly engage in the battles of Ragnarok, some scholars suggest that she may not have perished in the conflict. Alternatively, her fate might be considered a more hidden part of the mythos. As the mother of gods and the weaver of fate, Frigga may have remained silent and accepting when the end arrived, symbolizing her acceptance of the inevitable course of destiny. After Ragnarok, Norse mythology foretells the birth of a new world, with the surviving gods rebuilding it. It is prophesied that Balder will be resurrected in this new world. As his mother, Frigga may continue to be a symbol of motherhood and protection in this new world, though the myths do not explicitly state this. That concludes all the stories about Frigga. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy mythological stories like this, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'm Ada, a lover of mythology, and I'll see you in the next Norse mythology story.